Guess who's obsessed with you? Archangel Michael says, the air is not empty around you tonight, and the hush that clings to the walls has a heartbeat of its own. The room is dim, the curtains lean inward as if something invisible has leaned back, and a hush like a vow settles on your shoulders. You do not see a face yet, but you feel a gaze tracing your name with slow, deliberate heat. There is a pulse beneath the floorboards, the kind that remembers cluttered notebooks, old perfume, and the truth you do not speak out loud. Your name keeps returning to a pair of lips somewhere between sleep and lightning, and the syllables glow like embers cupped in restless hands. Every echo that finds you tonight carries a fragment of a vow you did not know you were owed. A pattern has formed in the hours you call ordinary, and it keeps tugging at the threads of your attention. A message arrives, then another, and behind the polite sentences there is a hum that refuses to dim. Footsteps pass your door in memory and in dream, and both claim to be real. Something collects near your windowsill, a soft electricity, a certainty with no formal announcement. Your heartbeat tries to match the rhythm of the waiting, and the waiting grows taller than the day. There is a name in the waiting, and it burns like a seal that has learned your borders. Type Amen 333 for blessings. The light above your desk flickers and steadies, and that steadiness carries a whisper of promise. You keep your hand still because you know even a small movement might make the promise step out of hiding. The promise likes to watch you before it speaks. A glove has been left in the story, not the kind you wear, but the kind a voice wears to keep from trembling. It is a glove of composure that cannot hide how the fingers shake when your memory passes. That trembling writes lines in the air you share, and those lines lean toward you. There are songs that used to be background, and now they sit in the front row of your living room with their hands clasped. They sing the same note each time your name appears on the screen, and the note grows steadier than pride. Pride has learned to step aside. You know this feeling because mirrors are honest late at night, and the mirror has learned a new truth about your reflection. Your reflection draws attention that prefers to circle instead of leave. The circle has become a ring around your hours. Type Amen 111 for blessings. The phone glows even while it sleeps, and the glow has timing that remembers your breath. Notifications arrive like footsteps that never want to turn away from your door. The door studies the pattern and recognizes devotion. Some say devotion is quiet, but this one walks like fire with velvet feet. It moves through your ordinary tasks and touches each with a careful name. The careful name is yours, and it is repeated like a mantra that refuses to forget the last letter. This is not a storm that breaks the roof, but it is a storm that waters the garden at midnight. Flowers not yet named by you have begun to bloom under the window you leave half open. Their scent is a letter no one else knows how to read. The letter keeps unfolding because obsession is a paper that does not believe in edges. When you breathe in, the paper breathes out, and your lungs meet in the middle of the room. Meeting is easy when the air has learned your signature. Type Amen 222 for blessings. There are footsteps from a past conversation, and they have found a path through the present. They have borrowed courage from silence and woven it into a cloak that looks like resolve. Resolve looks beautiful when it chooses a direction and writes your name on the sign. A name written too lightly fades, but this one has weight and warmth. It stays long after the page has been turned and the night has decided to be generous. Generosity circles back and tucks a stray hair behind your ear with the gentleness of a vow. Archangel Michael says, the signs were not accidents and the echoes were not stray. A cup left near your door in a dream is not an empty figure of speech, because it waits to be filled with the look you give when you are sure. That look is a lantern that no corridor can refuse. There is movement at the edges of the city, the kind of movement that belongs to a traveler who knows the route by memory. The traveler is guided by a map folded in the shape of your smile. The map grows brighter every time you laugh. Type Amen 444 for blessings. Tonight the stars feel closer, as if the ceiling stretched to let them see you better. A breeze carries a trace of someone's cologne, and it enters your space with quiet permission. Permission has already been granted by your softness that only the brave notice. The brave are not loud when it matters, they are steady. A steady attention has learned the weight of your footsteps, and the time you like to pause between sentences. That pause becomes a room where longing sits and practices how to be gentle. In a quiet mailbox, an unsent note practices confession like a secret rehearsal. Each sentence removes one layer of fear and adds 1 degree of warmth. Warmth wins arguments that words are too proud to fight. You sense a bouquet in transit, not flowers pressed flat by duty, but flowers that still carry a field and a sky. The ribbon that binds them also ties a promise to your morning. The morning agrees to be kind because it knows what is arriving. Type Amen 555 for blessings. A city can be loud, but devotion learns how to be heard without raising its voice. It waits at crosswalks and counts the lights with the patience of a pilgrim. Pilgrims keep their feet ready because love teaches good posture. There is a kitchen somewhere with 2 mugs prepared as if the second was never a question to be asked. One mug knows the exact sugar you prefer, and the other cup learned from watching. Watching becomes tenderness when done with respect. There are messages drafted and saved, wearing language that has been polished by hope. Hope rations its courage and then decides to spend it all at your doorstep. Your doorstep becomes a stage that prefers honesty over performance. The wind outside chooses your window when it has good news to carry. Good news wears your name like a medal earned by persistence. Persistence stands in the hallway and adjusts its heartbeat until it matches yours. Type Amen 777 for blessings. Somewhere, a late train hums under neon, and beside the glass a figure reviews the lines they intend to speak. The lines are simple because truth requires fewer ornaments when the feeling is real. Real feelings do not shout, they insist. Insistence is tender in the right hands, and those hands have learned how to hold without bruising. A future leans forward and offers a seat to your present, inviting it to rest. Rest feels brave when you have spent years staying alert. Your name travels through a set of keys until it meets a door that has been waiting. The door knows the difference between noise and arrival. Arrival changes the room without moving the furniture. There are numbers that follow you, little signatures of timing and trust. They carry the rhythm of your path like soft drums pressed near the heart. The heart answers in the language it learned before words. Type Amen 888 for blessings. In the quiet between messages, an image of you has become a permanent citizen in a mind that once resisted visitors. Resistance has lowered its guard and handed over a passport stamped with every moment it could not forget. Forgetting is not an option when attention pays rent in devotion. Devotion transforms habits into rituals that feel like home. A schedule breathes closer to yours and learns the way you prefer your evenings. Evenings begin to expect the warmth of your voice. Your laughter builds a small city in the chest of the one who studies your light. Streets are named after the tiny things you do without thinking, and each intersection leads back to your kindness. Kindness expands until it becomes policy. A promise has started keeping time with your smallest choices. It appears when you look at the moon and again when you tie your shoe. Tying becomes a blessing when it fastens a step toward something honest. Type Amen 369 for blessings. There is a story of two rivers that decided to run side by side without arguing about speed. Your days have become one river and their nights the other, and the banks have agreed to soften. Soft banks let roots live without fear. A pocket holds a trinket that belongs to you in idea if not in title yet. Fingers turn it over with a softness that does not get bored. Boredom is impossible when love studies. Love studies the angles of your patience and learns the angles of your courage. Courage writes a message on the palm where it cannot be lost. Loss refuses to be the ending this time. Type Amen 1212 for blessings. A painter chooses a new color and names it after the way your eyes change in the afternoon. The painter keeps that color on the palette like a secret key. Keys fit doors that are ready to be opened. In a small notebook, a date has been circled, not for superstition, but for craft. Craft is the way care becomes visible, and it dresses itself in plans that end at your smile. A smile makes even waiting feel like participation. Rain gathers on a rooftop and measures out a melody that matches the speed of a heart deciding. The decision was not sudden because longing has been practicing for months. Practice turns fear into form. Even the clock seems to behave, its hands moving like dancers who know the choreography. The choreography leads toward a meeting that has already happened in thought and will soon exist in the generous daylight. Daylight loves to witness courage. Type Amen 1010-4. Blessings. Letters arrange themselves into your name on a fogged window, drawn by a finger that remembers. Remembering becomes a way of traveling that brings the far places home. Home grows wherever your voice settles. Across town, a door opens to a room where a box waits, wrapped with a ribbon chosen after a ridiculous amount of care. The ribbon remembers the store where it was found and the way a breath caught at the thought of your smile. Smiles can be architecture when they shelter someone. There is a jacket placed on a chair that no one else is allowed to use in the mind that carries you. Territory forms gently around the thought of you, not as a cage but as a garden. Gardens keep the faithful busy with joy. A journey begins with a step that matches the music tenderness has been humming. The step is steady because the decision has been blessed by relief. Relief arrives when hiding no longer helps. Type Amen 1717 for blessings. Street lamps develop a halo as the evening sharpens, and someone walks beneath them rehearsing gratitude. Gratitude will be the first language spoken at your door. Doors love to hear thank you when they open. Shoes tap a mild thunder on the pavement, and each sound is a heartbeat learning to be brave. The brave heartbeat counts only to 2 because it wants to arrive on the second beat. Arrival loves the old elegance of even numbers. The gift held in one hand is not expensive, but it is perfect because it remembers your mornings. Mornings that matter prefer the soft company of something chosen with care. Care dresses even simple things in gold. Breath fogs in the late air, and a voice practices how to say your name with nothing extra attached. Nothing extra is needed when the truth is ready. Ready feels like mercy. Type Amen 2323 for blessings.